Yes, we'll be doing a short uh, SWOT analysis and macroeconomic outlook, right? So, to start with, what's a SWOT analysis? So, the SWOT analysis is as old as businesses themselves, right? And it continues to be as relevant as possible, even within the current business space or in the current business environment, right? So a SWOT analysis refers to a critical review of a company's internal strengths and weaknesses, as well as external opportunities and threats. So two things come up here. The word internal, right? So the word internal has to do more with your strengths and weaknesses. So as a company, as the business you are running.
I can't hear you again, Ibrahim. Okay, so
Yeah, so the internal strength and weaknesses. So as a business, you have to look at your strength and your weakness. Your strength and your weakness particularly have to do more with your internal process. It doesn't have much to do with your external relation, your business external relations, right? Then your opportunities and threats have to do more with your external environment. So we have two types of business environment. We have the internal environment and we have the external environment. So you can identify your strength and weakness internally, while you can identify opportunities and threats externally. So to go down deeper, what are the areas you can use to assess your SWOT, basically? So the areas you can use to assess your strength, your weakness, the opportunities for your business, and the threats for your business. Now, there are two types of SWOT, right? So as a leader, as a founder, you have areas of strength and weakness. You understand? So as a founder, you need to be able to assess that yourself. As a leader, as a founder, as a manager, as an entrepreneur, you need to be able to identify your strength and you need to be able to identify your weakness. So how do you manage people? It was stated that an individual can best manage between 3 to 5 persons at a time. So if you are a manager, if you're a CEO, you should understand the fact that you can only manage effectively between 3 to 5 persons. You understand? So what is your capabilities in terms of people management? What is your capability in terms of organizational management? So as a leader, as a manager, as a founder, you need to be able to assess your strength and you also need to be able to assess your weakness as a leader. So as you assess those by yourself as the founder of the business, then you also need to do a complete SWOT analysis for your business. So assess yourself, then now assess your business. So when assessing your business, what are those things you need to assess in your business? Number one, you need to assess the management. And you might be, as a founder, you might be the one managing it, or you might be outside of the management, just overseeing what is happening. So one of the key points you can use to assess your SWOT is the management. So how effective is the management in terms of the parameters you've set for them, in terms of your KPIs, in terms of the goals, in terms of the objective? You can assess your SWOT based on your product and services. So the product that you have currently in the market, the services you are currently offering in the market, how competitive are they in terms of pricing? How competitive are they in terms of quality? So you can assess your products, you can assess your services. You can assess in terms of people, your talent, your resources, your managers, your downlines. You can assess your source in terms of location. Where are you? Where is your business currently based? is it currently based where you will have more access to business? So you can imagine someone who wants to run a crypto business or wants to set up a crypto startup, going starting its operation in Ibadan or starting its operation in somewhere in Ekiti. You know fully well that you are not communicating, you are not in a direct play with your prospective customers, which are the young lads. You understand? So you need to consider what address, what location are you considering to set up your business. You can see the likes of Flutterwave having business operation both in Nigeria and also in the US, because they need access to capital, for which that capital they might not be able to have access to it. Nigerian banks might not be able to provide the kind of capital, the types and the kind of valuation that they need. So they also need to operate within the Nigerian business environment. So they operate using a dual location. So they have operations in the US and they also have operation in Nigeria. So you can assess your SWOT based on your location. You can also assess your SWOT based on infrastructure. How available, what types of infrastructure do you have in place? Do you have a cloud, do you have a cloud infrastructure that ensures that you're able to run meetings with your client, that ensures that you're able to communicate, you're able to send email to your client, that ensure that you're able to save vital documents, vital business databases? What's the current infrastructure you are putting in place internally within your business to ensure that you're able to run efficiently? Then you also have to look at so you also have to look at your organizational structure. So what's the organogram you are currently leveraging for your business? So your organizational structure have an impact in the way reporting goes in your business. So does the finance manager report to the CFO? Does the CFO report to the CEO directly? Does the gateman report directly to the CEO? Does the cleaner report directly to the CEO or downline managers? So you can assess your SWOT in terms of organizational structure and also in terms of organizational culture. Your core values as an organization define your organizational culture. So as a small business that you are starting up, for small business that are starting up, you need to be able to set core values that resonate with you yourself and that resonate with all your downlines. Because without culture, it's going to be very, very difficult to create a synergy within the team. Then you also need to assess your SWOT. You can also assess your SWOT based on the business model that you're currently adopting. So your business model have to deal with your operational model as a business, and it also has to deal with your revenue model as a business. So how do you intend to generate revenue? How do you intend to operate as a business? How do you intend to operate your supply chain? How do you intend to get feedstock if it is a business that is into manufacturing? For a services business, how do you intend to bring in talent? How do you intend to collaborate within your team to ensure that you're able to deliver excellent service to your client? And a look at the SWOT quadrant. So I call it the SWOT quadrant. So if you look at this looks like more like it is a quadrant, and that quadrant is what you can use to identify your SWOT, for which you are going to do in some couple of minutes, right? So your strength, what are your strengths? To revise, your strengths are your areas you are most excellent with. What are those areas that by the time they mention your business, you know for yourself that these areas are the areas I am most excellent in as a business. You understand? So your area of strength can be a low cost of production. Areas of strength can also be that your product has high quality, your services is high quality, and your areas of strength can also be in your business model. So what are the weakness? Weakness talks about areas of operation you are not good at. So areas of operation that you know that it limits your ability to generate revenue. It limits your ability to deliver the best to your customers or to your clients. So areas of weakness can be delay in delivery time. Areas of business can be poor branding. You understand? Because millennials, Gen Zs, they don't want to identify with brands that doesn't look beautiful, or that is not customer centric. You understand? So you can look at GT Bank, you can look at Wema Bank. Wema Bank before the alert. So most most millennials or most Gen Zs they see GT Bank as a brand that resonates with them. While Wema Bank, they see it as something like a brand that's probably meant for the guys within their retirement age, or guys that are within their pension age. You understand? So your branding can be a point of weakness, and also can be a point of strength. Then, so areas you are not good at can also be in terms of knowledge of the value chain. As a founder, as a business, you need to have an in-depth knowledge of the value chain you are operating in. So if you don't have an in-depth knowledge of the value chain, how the value chain works, how the value chain operates, then it's going to serve as a weakness. Then what are opportunity? Opportunity refers to favorable trend in the business environment. Favorable trend in the business environment. This favorable trend in the business environment can be in terms of infrastructure development. So one thing about infrastructure is that it makes business easier, it decrease transaction cost, and it expand your customer reach. So let's say, for example, the Lagos Ibadan Expressway, they are constructing a rail line down to Kano. So if you're a logistics business, you should understand the fact that with the rail line, your transaction cost will decline, and you can reach more customer as far as Kano. So if you're a civil engineering company, it also tells you that, if you're an architectural company, it also tells you that the more infrastructure that is being built for you to reach out to more people, aside from your own region of residence, those infrastructure allows you to expand your customer base. So you need to look at what infrastructure is government building. How can I leverage the infrastructure? What's the customer base? What's the customer base within the area in which government is extending the infrastructure to? So you need to be able to have focal points of government infrastructure development, so that you can be able to expand your business towards that zone. So if it is an agricultural business, the Lagos Ibadan Expressway ensures that you're able to move goods right from Kano, right from Ilorin, or right from any part of the southwest down to the Mile 12 market. So if it is fiber infrastructure, what is government investment in fiber infrastructure? To ensure access to low cost internet services. So if it is an online business, you understand the fact that the more internet penetration, so you can look at NCC website, what's the internet penetration in Nigeria? The increase in internet penetration will ensure that more people will be coming online, and you have the opportunity to to sell your service or to sell your product to more Nigerians, and also to people outside the country. So opportunities can come in form of infrastructure development. They can come in form of new technologies. It can come in form of access to international markets. Now we have the AFCTA. So how do you want to sell to guys in Ghana? How do you want to sell to guys in Togo? How do you want to sell to guys in Egypt? So the AFCTA allows it is trade between these people and Nigerians as well. So have you ever sell your product to any Ghanaians or any other individuals from the ECOWAS sub-region? So you need to look at this trend. Then another thing is macroeconomic indicators. So the improvement in macroeconomic indicators, you need to also look at that. What facilities is government providing? At what interest rate is government providing those facilities? Can you leverage those government facilities that come at a relatively low interest rate to expand your business? What's CBN offering? What's DBN offering? What are these institutional finance what are these institutional finance organizations, what are they offering compared to commercial banks that you can leverage to expand your business? Then your threats are things that can significantly impede growth and threaten your survival in the market. You should understand that we have BlackBerry. BlackBerry was we have Nokia. as at 2000, 2000 and 1002. That's the reigning phone there. If you have 3310, you are probably one of the richest on your streets. You understand? But now Nokia is out of the market. We have BlackBerry. BlackBerry is also out of the market. We currently have Apple. So you should understand the fact that unless you continue to iterate, you continue to innovate, you continue to think, you continue to be creative, there is every possibilities that your business also have the capabilities to be out of the market. And your business also have the capability to stay in the market for so many years. Let's look at General Electric. General Electric has been in existence for more than 100 years, or more than 120 years. In fact, you'll find some businesses in the US that have lived more than 200 years. You understand? So there are threats to the survival, to the existence of your business, and you have to have a sharp eyes to look at them. Whether you are running a small business of one that is whose revenue is about 1 million naira, about 5 million naira, you can go in. Their business can go into extinct in a month, within a month, and that business can scale within a month as well. So you need to look forward to threats that can affect your business. And a very good example of threats in our environment is government policies. The likes of Max, the likes of OPE, they can tell you a lot more about the effect of government policies on their business. So you need to look at these things and how are you preparing for them. The, the other example is key partners and stakeholders. Don't forget your suppliers, the person that is providing you feedstock, the person that is providing you, that you are outsourcing services to, so that you can be able to be more efficient and effective. A day can come, the person can say, okay, I'm no longer interested in this service, I'm no longer interested with this engagement. The person can walk away. Are you preparing for that eventuality, that even though if the person walk away, your business will continue to be effective and to be running, it will continue to be running efficiently. So threats can come from key partners. Opportunities can also come from key partners and stakeholders of your business. So as you will see in your BMC, who are your key partners, who are your stakeholders? So you need to have partners and stakeholders that are ready to go along with you, that are not ready to serve as a threat to you. Don't forget, if you are raising funds from VC, there are lots of examples of VCs that eventually take over the business of the founder. In fact, you even know of the famous Steve Jobs story, that the company he founded at some point, it was asked to leave. So all these things happens. So you have to be on the lookout for them. Questions to ask to identify your SWOT, to identify your business SWOT. So you will in the next couple of minutes, you will also do a SWOT analysis of your business, right? What are those questions you need to ask to identify your business SWOT? For your strength, what product and service has the highest sales revenue or cash flow? That's one of your strength points. What area your competitor aims to challenge you? So if you know areas in which your competitors are always aiming at you, you should know that that's one of the areas of your strength. So don't just keep at it. Strengthen at that point. What your customer comment about your business is you can identify your strength from that. What differentiates you in the market? What uniqueness do you have in the market? You can identify your SWOT from that. What resources ensure smooth operationalization of your business? So resources can be in terms of your employees, your talent, your technology infrastructure, your physical infrastructure can also be part of the resources that ensure the smooth operationalization of your business. Your strength can come from them. How can you identify your weakness? So which skills or capabilities limit your service delivery? You are not good in design. You are not good in design. It limits your ability to deliver brands. Since you don't to deliver quality brand for your business, since you don't have the money to pay brand guys, you cannot do a concrete analysis of the market. You cannot build strategies by yourself to ensure that your business runs smoothly. So which skills or capability limit your service delivery? What product or service make the least sales? So you can identify your weakness from there. What product has the highest expenses to sales ratio? So there are some products, there are some services that they take a lot from you in terms of your time, in terms of expenses, in terms of cost. But at the end, by the time you look at the sales you are generating from this product or from this service line, they're actually relatively low. So you need to be able to measure your expenses to sales ratio. So you can identify your weakness from there as well, your business weakness from there as well. What areas customers comment the most about your competitor's business? So if you look at your competitor and you see their customers say, these are the areas my competitors customers identify as the best in their business. So you can copy that, you can make it better, it's fine. China did it, you understand, at some point in their developmental stage. So you can look at areas of the business of your competitors that they are doing excellently well and they are receiving positive clients commendation. You can build on it, you can make it better, you understand. So, and what's your customers comment about your employees? Your weakness can also come from that due to the lackadaisical attitude of some staff members. Then you also look at how can you identify the opportunities that are available to your business. So I'm currently here. So what new technology can help lower and increase efficiency for your business? Which market trend or social patterns will have positive effects on your business in terms of product, in terms of operation, in terms of your employee? So there are some certain social patterns and market trends that you need to focus on, that you need to be out for in order to take advantage of them. What business model and strategy are the industry leaders using? Who are the best in your industry? Who are the best in your business segment? Look at the best of the best in your business segment, the top two, and look at what they are doing. What strategy are they deploying on a year-on-year basis? What strategy that ensures that their revenue continue to increase? Look at the market leaders in your industry. So you also need to ask yourself, how can I receive higher prices for my product and services? So you also need to look at opportunity also come from not in the number of services or number of deliverables that you do. It also has to deal with, you can increase your price a bit in order to increase your margins a bit as well. So not in terms of the volume that you deliver at some point, it also has to deal with the pricing as well. Can you have pricing advantage over your competitors that ensure that you're able to deliver better margin for yourself as the business owner and for other stakeholders of the business? What government or private sector program can I take advantage of? So aside government programs from the CBN, from different ministries, private sector guys also have programs that you need to look at. They have Every companies always have a year strategy. And from that year strategy, they want to partner with small businesses that can able to supply them feedstock, that can do their branding, that can do all those small things that they cannot do by themselves. They need to outsource. Every company outsource either trainings, either their branding, every company in Nigeria outsource one or two things. How can you position yourself to ensure that you are the one delivering checkbooks for GT Bank, checkbook for First Bank? You are the one, your business is the one designing the next GT Bank, GT Bank building or new branch. You are the one designing paystack, paystack office. You are the one delivering the office chairs, delivering the office furniture. So look at private companies have programs. Ask your friends, what's your company planning for next year 2022. So ask your friend. If you have over 100 friends, at least you should be able to identify 10 that will tell you, okay, this is what my company is planning then position yourself to take advantage of that. Be the best person to offer them the service that they want. Then threats. Which government policy or regulation would have negative impact on your business? Now, the government is coming up with the 7.5% tax on Facebook ads and other different fiscal policy regime is coming up in place. Those things always have effect on businesses. They are not doing those policies for only the citizens. Those policies have their effect on businesses as well. So they are threats. They can either make you scale or they can either impede the growth of your business. What product pricing advantage does new entrants have? So there are always new entrants in a business. So you need to be able to position for them. A very good example is the new airline that is charging about 16,000 for, that's Green Africa, charging about 16,000 for Lagos to Abuja. In fact, it reduces airfares by more than 50%. So it was an instant threat to the likes of Airpeace, to the likes of RK and some other airline operators like that. So new entrants always post, because they are coming into the market. And as they are coming into the market, they're also coming with excellent strategy. So you need to be able to position for them. Are you losing talent? Threats can also come from you losing talent. If your business is talent based, if you are losing too much talent, it means the business will not be formidable. The business will not be really, really strong. If it is a talent based business, if it is an architect, if it is especially service based business requires a lot of talent. For those who have about 2, 5, 6, 7, or 8 or 10 employees, you have a bad debt or cash flow problem. There are some individuals that they are ready to they are ready to get all the products, even your services in debt for a whole year. So you need to be very careful of those set of people. If you have cash flow problem, this can serve as a threat for your business. So which technology is disrupting the market? So foreign technologies to have a way of disrupting the local market. So you need to be on the lookout for those ones as well. So any question at this point? We are done with the SWOT analysis. Any question at this point?
Yes, good afternoon, and thank you so much for your presentation. I have a couple of questions. One, the prior understanding of SWOT analysis is it could either be a decision or a diagnostic tool, right? So, so is that accurate? Second question is, what's the best way to approach a SWOT analysis? Because now we're talking about your presentation, you talked about two things, looking at my operational model and the commercial model effectively. So basically, what is the industry situation? What is my business situation? What's the best practice in doing this? Because a lot of times when I try to do it, I find myself modeling up a lot of things. I look at my internal processes, I'm like, oh, okay, this is the best way to situate this. And then we now look at the wider picture and look at, okay, this is the best commercial model to go about this. So what's the best practice in handling SWOT analysis from an operational point and a commercial point?
Yeah, so it is both a decision tools and also a diagnostic tools. You understand? So it is not, so you need to diagnose areas of your strength, areas of your weakness, areas of the opportunity, areas of your threat. You need to diagnose. By the time you diagnose your business, that is when you're able to make the next line of decisions on what am I supposed to do. So it is both a diagnostic tools. So you need to diagnose your business. You are going into 2022. What did I do wrong? What did I do right in 2021? So you need to diagnose. How can I increase? So by the time you identify what you do wrong and what you do right in 2021, you've diagnosed 2021. Then the next decision is, what can I do in 2022? What can I do better in 2022? So that is the decision stage. to look at 2022 and say, okay, what are those things I need to twist? What are those things I need to change? What are those things I need to improve upon in order to be able to deliver better results in 2022? So SWOT analysis is both a diagnostic tool and also a decision tool as well. So then how best can you approach SWOT? So like I identify, you can use three approaches, right? So you can use both the internal and the external approach. So internally, so what am I doing very well? What are the areas in which I am very weak? Then you can use external point of view from external perspective, that what are those things my business can take advantage of, and what are those things that will serve as a threat to my business. So you can identify, okay, internal, external on your book. That is one approach. Then the second one you can use is your entire business operations have segments. So if it is a product business, let's say an agricultural in an agricultural processing business, you understand? So you look at your suppliers. How can I get my feedstock at the least possible cost? What is my procurement guys doing? Who are the guys handling my procurement? So there are guys within the procurement segment. So that's one segment. So there are guys within the production segment. There are guys within the business support segment, your accounting, your legal, and there are guys within the sales. So you can compartmentalize your entire division, bring them into segments, and look at their current performance. Then you can use that approach as well to draw your SWOT. Then the other one is the one I mentioned initially, whereby the one I mentioned initially in relation to areas you can use to assess your SWOT. Assess it based on your management, your product and services, your people, your location, your infrastructure, your location, your organizational structure, your organizational culture, and your business model. So you can use any of these three approaches. You can look at it from any of these three perspectives in improving and in ensuring that your SWOT analysis is more effective ahead of 2022. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, just to add to that, Ibrahim, just to add to what you've um, response you provided. So I think one key thing that I picked up from Rafi's question was in terms of thinking about it from an operations perspective, as well as also from like a commercial perspective. And the point I wanted to just draw out is your SWOT analysis is an holistic tool, right? So it cuts across every aspect of your business, from day-to-day operations, to how you're performing in the market space in terms of your trade, your cash flows, your interactions with businesses and whatnot. So it's an all-encompassing tool, and that's why the idea that there are aspects of your SWOT that touches on your internal activities, whether operations or commercial, as well as those that touch on the external. So it really cuts across both. And I think the best way to think about it is to think about it as an holistic tool. To bring it all together, it's important to have the mindset that as a business, you were set up for a purpose, right? And from Sakina's initial conversation in terms of the goals, what are you trying to achieve? You were set up for a purpose. And this SWOT analysis almost guides you in terms of how am I able to achieve those goals? What strengths do I have that I can leverage? That once I leverage on those strengths, it puts me in a better position to reach my desired goals. What weaknesses are there today that might hinder my ability to reach those goals? right? And then you want to try to cover for those weaknesses by either, developing capabilities, or recruiting people or buying the technology or whatever else, So, and those two strengths and weaknesses are really internal, right? There are different factors like Ibrahim alluded to, like management and organizational culture and all other things that might impact on that. Even your financial position. If you're running a business and you don't have enough capital in that business, that can be a weakness because your competitors might be spending a lot on talent and they're attracting the best. But because you don't have capital, you can't do anything. So that's a weakness. So how do you overcome that weakness? Maybe you need to start raising capital. You need to start selling more so you can have cash flows to compensate for that. So again, that speaks to that. Then ultimately, your external activities also impact on your ability to reach your goals. And Ibrahim gave some very good examples. So you might have your grand plan and then internally you're very strong, in terms of weaknesses, you've mitigated everything. But there are some external forces that might also impede on your ability to win. So for example, a new competitor might come in and then is offering free services. Meanwhile, you are charging premium price for those same services. It might blow you out of the business, right? So that's a threat that you need to be mindful of. Or it might be regulation, like Ibrahim alluded to as well. And then the government just says, nobody can wash car on the street anymore. So you have to go and look for no water or no liquid solution to solve that problem. And then your own solution has been built on, using water and other things. So that might blow you out. So being aware of those external forces is also important. So I think in a nutshell, the SWOT should be looked at holistically, not trying to say, okay, maybe is it just for internal operations or for, for commercial on the external side of trading and whatnot, but it's actually the whole thing. And ultimately, you're trying to put yourself in a position where your probability to win and succeed in business is higher because you are mindful of some of those forces that would impact on your ability to win in the market space, and you're doing something about it today. Right. So I hope that sort of also adds to the clarification.
Yeah, thank you. That was very helpful.
Yes. So let me run through the remaining slide. Then after that, we can draw our SWOT analysis by ourselves for our businesses. Then competition analysis. How do you identify competitors? So using Porter's 5 forces, you understand. What's your threat of new entrants? You need to be able to identify. Well, basically, your business, is it easy for you to have new entrants in your industry? You understand? Or for industry that whose capital requirement is very high, the threat of new entrants is very low. But for businesses which capital requirement is very low, you should expect new entrants on a yearly basis. So bargaining power of suppliers also, you should look at who are the guys supplying you, your raw materials, your needed technology infrastructure. Can you bargain better to reduce your unit cost from your suppliers' endpoint? Bargaining power of buyers. So in your industry, do you have the power to decide the price of your product, or you don't have that power? If it is an industry where you have power, you can increase your prices by a margin in order to be able to deliver better profit. But if it is an industry that whose buyer in which buyers are king, buyer determine the pricing, then you have to be able to reduce your cost of production. Availability of substitute. If so, you need to be able to identify, are there substitute to the services I'm offering or the products I'm offering. Like if it is a car washing business, you understand the fact that an individual can decide to wash his car by him or herself, rather than bring it to the car wash. So you need to be able to offer, and there should be a uniqueness in your service to ensure that that person will bring his or her car to your shop. Then competitive rivalry. In a mass market, competitive rivalry is very intense. And a very good example is the bread business in Lagos State. Literally every before you work, like, the bread business is very intense in Lagos State. Before you take like 10 steps, you find someone selling bread. You understand? So if it is an industry in which the competitive rivalry is very tense, you should expect to have that level of product differentiation for you to be able to compete favorably in such a market. Macroeconomic outlook for small businesses, for SMEs. That's what this one is going to be based on. So, what are those macroeconomic indicators that may likely affect your business going into 2022? Number one is the increase in oil prices. So, it is believed that the international oil price will be at $60 to $65 at the minimum, and throughout the year, this portends a positive light for Nigeria, since over 90% of our foreign exchange is from oil. Is from oil. So invariably, our exchange rate will most likely, our exchange rate depends on it, and the more we're able to sell in the international market, the more we are able to get our government is able to get revenue, and the more stable our economy is. The removal of fuel subsidies, we should expect that by mid-year 2020. If they remove fuel subsidy, that's going to affect commodity prices to an extent. Transport and logistics fares will also increase, and then overall transaction cost might also increase. So the transaction cost for your suppliers, from your suppliers, should expect that to increase marginally. So if the government is still able to carry the burden of the subsidy, that's fine. Then we have the Dangote refinery coming up next year as well, so that might be able to stabilize the supply of gasoline, the supply of diesel, and we might say a goodbye to all those incessant fuel subsidy, fuel supply, all those fuel supply issues in Nigeria going forward. Then the Lekki port is also coming up. It's about 76% completion. If it is an export business, so we have an advantage in that. We will have a competing port aside the Apapa port. And if you stay within the Apapa area, your business within the Apapa area, you should understand that there will be an advantage for you. Exchange rate is expected to be relatively stable within the range of 400 to 500 naira per dollar. So it's currently about 411 using the CBN window, but relatively should be between 400 to 500 per dollar. So Nigerians will have access to foreign exchange to conduct international transaction. The amount of dollars you have to conduct international transaction will most likely increase. I think GT Bank said it's about $100, as at the last time they sent me a message that I only have access to $100 to conduct international transactions. So that might increase and also help you conduct that. Then fiscal regime. So increasing budget deficit. Estimated budget deficit for next year budget is yet to be signed. It's about 6.25 trillion naira, and as a result of this deficit, government will go really hard on tax. So you should expect, if you are a business that you are involved in VAT, it's going to be really tough in that area. Government want VAT at all means. Another consumer-centric tax, you should expect that Nigerians will have to pay for that. Then GDP growth. Overall, the economy will grow by is expected to grow by 2.2% in 2022 and 2.4% in 2023. So if the economy grows, invariably there will be a boost for consumer purchasing power. So you should expect that Nigerians want to buy more. So the election, we are getting close to the year of election. There will be more money in circulation, and consumer purchasing power will be very high in 2020, 2023. We're having a population census as well. More money will be pushed out by government. Then recovery in key economies. If you are an individual that leverage the international market, you have clients in the US, in Canada, in Saudi Arabia, in Dubai. If you are not leveraging these international markets yet, try as much as you can to do that. This can help. The recovery in this key international market can also help boost your clients. It can also help increase your international access for your business as well. And as this economic increase, as these economies come back fully on board, you should know that the supply chain generally within the international market will be encouraging, and this can also help you to help you increase your customer base as well, and a better purchasing power. So monetary policy rate. So for guys who look forward to getting access to finance, so for the monetary policy guys, so MPR, the monetary policy rate, is expected to be maintained at 11.5 to 12% in 2022. This shows that prime lending rate in 2022 is expected to be the same as that of 2021. So you should understand how MPR affects you as an individual. If you are going to access fund via commercial banks, you should understand that you cannot get any fund below the interest rate you will get from any bank in Nigeria cannot be lower than 11.5% if MPR is 11.5%. So MPR is the rate at which the CBN lends to the commercial banks. And since the commercial banks have to make money, they cannot lend below 11.5%. So the monetary policy, the prime lending rate will still be double digits, and unless you are lending from fintech, and so you can have access to a single digit interest rate from fintech, since they have access to fund not through the Nigerian monetary system. They have VCs and Ps that are providing funding for them, so they can still be able to lend you money at a single digit interest rate. The other opportunity that you have is the ethical finance space. So that is Islamic finance is also an opportunity you can leverage to get money for your business going forward in 2022. So any question at this point? I'm done. Quick question, then we draw out our SWOT analysis. I guess Sekinat, you can help me conduct that for the SWOT. I would like to see your SWOT analysis before the end of the session. Any question?
So I wanted to add a quick comment before, maybe if they had any other questions, right? Because I know a lot of times some of these conversations can be a bit confusing, and maybe you're not sure how to fit in. But I think the key point to note, guys, is that your business does not operate in isolation, right? Your business operates within an ecosystem, within an environment, and activity is happening within your environment, be it the location where your business is operating. So for example, if you're running a physical store, a physical business, if there's insecurity issues in your location, you won't be able to do business. It will affect your business. So imagine you're running a car wash and cultists are fighting day in, day out in your location. Nobody will bring that car to your store. So the environment affects your business. So you cannot ignore your environment when you're trying to decide on how do you want to grow your business, how do you want to win. So that's why the topics that Ibrahim has covered is very critical, right? And I think a good way to think about the environment is that there are some very standard and almost constant forces that you have to deal with, right? There's the political environment, the government, the regulation, and things like that. You have to understand what's going on, right? Imagine when COVID happened and there were policies that a number of governments across the world, tried to implement. Some of it included providing intervention funds to small businesses. If you're not looking at that environment, you won't see that there was an opportunity. Some businesses got millions of naira to support their businesses during COVID, right? But you needed to have been scanning the environment. You needed to have been on top of the environment to understand that, something like this might be happening. And in that case, that was an opportunity, not a threat. In some other cases, the environment might pose a threat, and then you need to know how to dodge or defend yourself, right? So it's very important to be able to think about it. Okay, how does my environment affect my business? Does it provide opportunities which I need to capitalize on, or does it pose like threats which I need to defend against, right? So you need to always have that at the back of your mind. And I think what I wanted to just add is a simple way to sort of think about that is if you think about PEST, right? PEST is like an acronym for political factors, economic factors, social factors, and then technological factors. There are others like PESTO, but let's just keep it simple at PEST. So most of what Ibrahim has discussed here, they fall under different buckets of PEST. So under political is like your regulation, policies, and co. Economic is very important. Everybody knows that once anything that happens in the oil space today, it affects Nigeria seriously. If prices are going up, it affects Nigeria. If prices are coming down, it's a big problem for us. So you need to be on top of that, because guess what? The amount of things that we import in this country is quite huge. So if exchange rate goes up, if oil price is going down, then that's affecting our foreign reserve, which in turn will affect exchange rate, will affect the overall economy. So all those things are very important. So depending on how, the macroeconomic outlook is, that might also impact your business. It might impact your customers. So if it doesn't even impact your business directly, it might impact your customers in terms of, did they have enough money to, to still buy your product? And, again, during COVID, we saw how, businesses were limited. A number of people lost their jobs. Some people could not sell, and then their spending power reduced. So you can't, again, ignore the environment, and then, the other factors like that. So I think the good thing to always think about is, understand the environment to the very best of your ability, and also try to see how it might provide opportunities that you can capitalize on, or how it might provide threats that you need to defend against if you want to survive. So, I mean, if there are any questions for Ibrahim or comments, now would be a good time.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you, Hanif.